Here's how to pay off your mortgage faster than you had intended on. Now, everybody dreams of the day that they are mortgage free or don't have to pay for housing, because housing is one of the largest costs that you will face in your life in New Zealand. Housing and taxes are the two biggest expenses that you will have throughout your life. So if you can learn to decrease those, you're going to have a competitive advantage over those who do not. Now, from the top, a couple of things. I don't have a mortgage, and often I only like to speak about things that I have done. So when I did have a mortgage, I tried to do some of the stuff, and then I had bad money behavior, so it didn't really work for me. So one of the things that I did was have an offset mortgage so that I could offset some of the cost of that debt. So basically I would take my savings that I would have and I would offset the debt, and then I wouldn't be paying interest on that portion. Now, you'll find it's pretty fashionable at the moment for people to talk about that. I think you can even pay for courses from people and they'll teach you how to do it and have your loan structure all done properly, and you can use your credit card to live off, and then have that money set aside offsetting your mortgage. It's going to decrease your interest cost, and then you pay your mortgage, your credit card back on time, and round it goes and whatnot. You need to go and explore that. So my first thing is I would go and speak to a mortgage advisor, and I would say, this is my goal. My goal is to clear my mortgage faster and to not pay as much interest and to then be mortgage free faster. Now, what I did was basically, I know better. I can get a big credit card. I can use that money off there. I can offset that. I can make sure it's paid back on time and round. And eventually I fucked it up and I ended up in debt, and it undid the whole thing. But anyway, that's one of the things that people will talk about is an offset mortgage. But if I were doing it, then my answer would be make more money. Oh no, not that again, Luke. You can't tell people to do that. Someone's going to get upset. That's not very Kiwi, etc. It's literally what happens when people pay off a mortgage faster. They give the bank more money. And the banks say, thank you, you don't have to pay us for as long, and we're not going to charge you as much interest. But for some reason, people just get so bent out of shape about teaching people to make more money. But that is literally the hack to pay off your mortgage faster, is pay it off faster than the bank are asking you. So when you go and take a loan, they say, look, it's going to be 20 years, 30 years, or whatever that is, right? And then we go, okay, what are the repayments? And I see this all the time with business owners when they're buying vehicles and things. They just pay that amount. And sometimes if you go and try and pay it off sooner in a vehicle finance, they'll say, oh, you actually have to pay us a portion of that interest that we've missed out on, and they'll have that in the contract. But with, excuse me, with mortgages, they will allow you to repay a percentage of that mortgage over and above what you would normally be repaying back. Now, if you think about this, I can say, I'll go and make more money and pay your mortgage off faster. Oh, well, not everyone can do that, etc. So we're going to get those people. But if those same people won lotto, what's the first thing they would do? Go and pay off their mortgage. And then, not all of us can do that. We didn't win lotto. So the answer is still the same. Get more cash and then give the bank back their money. The bank gave you money to buy something. You couldn't afford it. They gave you debt, but that's just not how we look at it, because it's a house and because the Kiwi dream and the property Ponzi, etc. that the country's built on, we're all marketed to be like, no, it's completely normal, but really you couldn't afford that house. And so then you could afford the repayments, which is great, but if you end up with more, then your goal was to own the home, not to own a mortgage to continue to repay that. So let's then think about this, and if I were you, and if I were wanting to repay my mortgage faster, the first thing that I would do would be to go on to a mortgage calculator to get excited about it. So I had a look at an $800,000 property with a loan of $550,000. Now, that is the average loan that homeowners, first home buyers are taking on at the moment, apparently. So I put in the housing variable rate of 7.89%, and we talk about that over 30 years. Now, it tells us that it's going to be pretty bloody ugly. So over the course of the 30 years, we're going to pay total interest of $887,700. And then we have to pay the loan off as well. So a monthly repayment of $3,994. First thing you're going to say is, oh, well, it's not actually going to be 7.89% over that time. Interest rates always go down. Okay, well, let's just key in a 4% interest rate then and see if it will calculate it like that. Is that going to do that for us? Yes. So then our total interest is only $395,283. Epic. That's exciting. That keeps us happy, right? But then you go to my idea, well, find ways to increase your income to then pay down your mortgage faster. Well, if then we key it in and say, right, the extra repayment, we're going to look at trying to do $100 a month. $100 a month. Because most people, they have $1,200 to $1,500 worth of shit lying around their house that they could sell and turn into cash. So there is $1,200, so 12 lots of 100. And so if we key that in, then, wow, that's gonna save us $30,000, $726 of interest. And 2 years, so we're gonna pay it off in 28 years. Wow, okay, that's pretty exciting. What if we said fortnightly? Okay, that's gonna save me 3 years and 9 months, and I'm not gonna have to pay $56,764 of interest. Now remember, you pay for your interest with after-tax money. So you go make 100K, you pay your tax on that, and then you're paying your mortgage and your interest. So that $56,764, think about how long it's gonna take you to make that cash as well to be able to pay that. So I would get excited by the thought of being able to pay this off faster and ways that you could do it. And I'd just get real fired up and be like, what if I could do $1,000 a month? Holy shit, that's gonna save me 12 years and 4 months. What about $1,000 a fortnight? That's completely ridiculous, Luke. Yeah, but so is paying a loan to the bank for 30 years as well. You know, why don't we, if we can make sense of doing that for 30 years, what if in the next 5 years, we could figure out a way to have another $5,000 per fortnight? Well, you would save 17 years and 4 months. Now this is, remember, $800,000 property, $550,000 loan, 30-year term at a 4% rate. So you've got to start getting your mind to think, okay, I know that, let's ignore the hacks and let's think, how do you actually do it? The answer is give the bank back their money and they stop charging you as much interest. Pretty simple. Okay, where are we going to get more money from? You've got to figure that bit out. Is it a boarder? Is it a tenant? Is it a side hustle? Is it extra hours? Is it an inheritance in time? You want to study your life and the next 30 years or even 20 and figure out where is money going to come from. I know it can be really hard to do and we don't get taught how to do it and it's tough out there and we're in a 2-year recession, the economy's contracting, but you have to remember, I've been here talking about this stuff since 2020 when it was starting to get tricky, saying all the same stuff like, hey, money's going to be worth less, you want to be thinking about this stuff, etc. So I've been beating the drum and banging it. I get it. I've seen it go easy and then hard, and hopefully it gets easier again. But even when it does start getting easier and you have more cash, then you've got to commit to actually clearing some of this if you want to. Because then you'll find when interest rates get lower again, you're going to have people saying, bro, why are you paying your debt off faster? You don't need to do that. Money's cheap, man. Who cares? Pay the minimum, man, and go and live the life. Spa, travel, get the mountain bike, etc. They're going to tell you to do that. You have to decide what you want to do. Everyone gets cute and knows what they're doing when interest is cheap, but no one out there at the moment being like, man, I'm glad I've got heaps of debt. Yeah, it's epic, bro. I'm loving it. Yeah, this is sick. I'm really glad I leveraged myself up. Man, debt's so cheap. It's so easy to get a return on it. Not happening at the moment, but you wait. Oh, sick. I can see an Air Force jet plane coming in. No jets in this country. Anyway, 3 to 4% interest. Oh, you're going to hear it again. Oh, mate, honestly, just borrow at 4% and just get a better return. Over there, you don't want to pay your debt back, etc. Which I kind of understand that, but you've got to be at like a different level of understanding money to think to do that and to figure out, are you good enough to get a return on that for it to work? But anyway, back to the goal. The goal is to clear the debt faster, to decrease the length of your mortgage. So you want to then start thinking about ways that you can actually bring some extra income in order to do it. And then the next thing you would what I would do is I would be like, cool, I get that. That seems really hard, but I'm going to brainstorm some ideas of ways that I could bring in extra income. And then seeing the numbers gets me excited to be like, yeah, I'm going to smash this. Okay, epic. And mean, if I save 12 years off of my mortgage, or even 17, you know, what would I do on the other side of that? For me, this is giving my brain ammunition of this is possible, this is doable, this is telling me that this is doable. Okay, I don't need to just accept the bank's term. I can build this on my own terms. So I want to speak to a mortgage advisor and be like, here's what I'm committing to, like how's the best way to go about this, get some ideas around structuring and things like that so that you can actually pay it off faster. And then I'm going to go like Facebook, or I'm going to go to the mortgage advisor and I'm going to start Googling, I'm going to be YouTubing, and I'm going to be looking for these people that have actually done it. I'm going to be searching for these people, hey, how did you shave 10 years off of your debt? And then I'm going to get podcasts in my ears, I'm going to read, and I'm going to look down at it all. I'm not, fuck the hacks, I don't care about that. I want to know, like, you did it, how did you do it? What lessons can I take and put those into my life? So that's then the information that I'm looking for. And then I need reinforcement to stay on the path and to go hard. And when it gets tough and when the car breaks down, to be like, nah, I'm on the, like, I know why I'm doing this, and I want a strong why, and I want a reason around why I'm doing it. And I And I know that throughout it, sometimes I'm going to be like, this doesn't make any sense. Why am I pushing myself so hard? Why am I clearing out the, the garage? Why am I getting this border in? Why am I doing these extra hours? This doesn't make any sense. It'll make sense when the shit hits the fan later in your life, or at some stage when you're like, oh man, I'm glad I've got that equity in my property. Oh man, we're so glad we did that. And only the people that do this stuff can tell you those stories. You know, the people who don't do this stuff, like no point, oh, easy for them to say, don't worry about it. So I want to collect some info of like, why did you do it? And what's made it good about doing it? And get the hindsight stories from people. And then of course, you know, you could find out that one day you're like, oh, I wish we didn't actually do that and we enjoyed it more. Everybody can say that stuff in hindsight, right? So you've got to be committed to your goals and your why. And then, you know, I'm going to be researching even the likes of ChatGPT and going to say like, hey, you know, what are some ways for New Zealanders to pay off their mortgage faster? It's got here, switch to fortnightly payments. Why and how? Make lump sum payments, increase regular payments, refinance to a lower interest rate, use an offset account, shorten the loan term, avoid interest-only payments, pay more frequently, avoid mortgage top-ups, stick to a budget, consider a floating or fixed floating split, get some advice from a mortgage advisor, leverage your Kiwi saver for first-time buyers. Can you borrow from your parents? Can you offset against your parents' savings? I just add those extra ones in there. But, you know, you think about those things. Review your expenses going out, your subscriptions, review your insurance and figure out, can you deploy that money over into clearing your debt? So once you have a goal, it makes it easier to make sense of making decisions and doing it. So again, from the top, if I'm going to clear my mortgage off faster, I'm going to understand there's going to be a whole heap of hacky people, and some of that stuff's like hacky, and that's like, okay, cool. Tick, 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 have I done that stuff? Is there anything else I can do? Okay, I need to know from a mortgage advisor. I want to hear from an expert. I want to hear from someone that's done it. And then, great, what's the non-hack? Oh, the non-hack is give the bank their money back. Great. Okay, how am I going to do that? I need to go and get more money so that I can give the bank their money back. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do a brainstorm. I'm going to figure it out. And then I've got my goal. I'm on the path, and I'm going to wire my brain with positive validation. It's a good idea to do, and I'm going to have a crack at it, and I'm going to see where we get to. I'm going to make sure my partner's on board as well, and let's roll, baby. And you start building the snowball, and then someone comes along and goes like, hey, do you want to, you know, maybe invest into this? And it could be 10,000 in, and you might get 50,000. You might do a property flip or something just as an idea, and your brain's going to go, man, that's going to speed up my journey even faster. Shit, maybe I will take the risk. Maybe I will take the risk. But if you're fully leveraged and if you're just going week to week, paycheck and month to month payment stuff, you're going to be like, oh, whoa, that's risky, man. Not for me. Nah. Why would, good luck, bro. Let me know how you go. They'll come back, say that they did well, and then they're into their next opportunity, got the snowball going. Didn't go as well as they thought, but still, you know, went better than doing nothing. They've got some, you know, things that they've learned. And their snowball is rolling. You're thinking like, oh, maybe I should have done that. But again, you want to start with the goal. You want to be realistic about it. And remember that the bank gave you money that wasn't yours. They charge you interest for that. If you give it back, they're going to charge you less interest. So that is how I think we could tackle how to pay off the mortgage faster. If you've paid off your mortgage faster, and if you've had some ways to decrease the number of years that it's going to take, and even the ways to think about it mindset-wise, I'm distracted by this plane over here, eh? It is, looks like a big Orion. Well, is there an Orion maybe? I don't know, Hercules or something. But anyway, now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, you get my drift. Sorry, you guys that have done it, let us know. You know, what did you do? So let's get some people talking about this stuff. Let us know down below.